Over the last few weeks, you've been seeing a lot of headlines involving President Trump, Iran, oil, and rising global tensions that we've all been witnessing, specifically in the Middle East. But here's what most people are missing about all of this. Inflation right here at home in America quietly just moved higher again. And what's happening in the Middle East is a big reason why. Let me explain what just came out on Friday a couple of days ago. We got the March inflation report. The U.S. inflation just went up to a 3.3% annual rate year over year. That's the highest level of inflation in nearly 2 years. And in just 1 month, prices jumped 0.9%. That's a big move, guys. The biggest driver of all of this higher inflation is energy. Energy prices are up about 12.5% over the past year. And gas alone is up nearly 20% over the past year. The previous month's inflation, February, was up 2.4%. March's inflation skyrocketed up to 3.3%. That's nearly a 1% increase in just 30 days. That's huge. Now, at the same time, and this is the big piece of this, real wages actually dropped 0.6% last month. So think about that. Prices are going up and your paycheck is basically going down. It means your purchasing power is shrinking even more, big time. And look, all of us are already feeling this, right? We're seeing it at the gas pump. We're seeing it or feeling it at the grocery store. And for many of you, when you pay your rent, shelter alone is still rising at about 3% year over year. And so even if some things are slowing down in terms of increasing prices, the things that we need the most, transportation, a roof over our head, and food, are still going up by a lot. Now, here's the question. Why is inflation moving again after cooling off for the last couple of years? It comes down really to one word, and that one word is oil. Before I dig into oil, though, let me explain something that most people really don't realize. When you hear, oh, the inflation rate is at 3.3%, that's what's called headline CPI inflation. Headline CPI inflation includes everything, including food, energy, gas, rents, all of it is included in headline CPI inflation. But there's another number called the Core CPI. The Core CPI inflation removes food and energy. That Core CPI number is right now sitting at about 2.6% based on Friday's numbers. So think about what that means. Inflation looks a lot lower when you remove the two things, food and energy, that are actually hitting our wallets the hardest. Because right now, those are the exact categories that are rising the fastest in terms of inflation, food and energy. Now, how does oil play into all of this? Well, here's the deal. Oil is energy. The conflict involving Iran disrupted one of the most important oil routes in the world, the Strait of Hormuz. Roughly 20% of the world's oil supply flows right through that one strait, that one area sitting in the Middle East. When that one little Strait of Hormuz gets disrupted, even temporarily, like we're seeing right now, the markets react immediately because that slowdown in supply of oil because of the disruption at the Strait of Hormuz affects all of us around the world. It affects inflation everywhere. Oil prices go up. And when oil and energy go up in price, everything goes up in price. Now, this is where leadership, policy, and global decisions come into play from a financial standpoint. The U.S. has been directly involved in this entire situation. And even with a temporary pause or a ceasefire that was issued by President Trump, the ripple effects are already happening right here, and we're feeling it every single day. Gas prices are pushing past $4 a gallon nationally, and the Trump administration is even tapping into emergency oil reserves just to try to stabilize things, right? They just released in March 172 million barrels of oil to sort of combat the rising oil prices from what's happening over in the Middle East. Now, what most people don't think about is that you don't just pay for oil only when you fill up your tank. You pay for it when groceries get delivered. You pay for it when the food gets delivered to the store where you actually go to use oil and energy and gas to go get it from. Think about it. When trucks move across the country carrying the shoes that you're going to buy from the store in about 2 weeks, right? That's oil, that's energy. Not to mention you actually having to get into your car, your vehicle, or take the bus to use energy and oil to get down there to buy the shoes that had to use energy and oil to get the shoes there. So energy and oil is everywhere when your flight gets more expensive. See, all businesses raise prices to cover the higher cost of shipping and the higher cost of transportation for the goods that you buy and for transporting you from place to place, city to city, right? Address to address. Oil is there. See, that's how inflation spreads quietly. And we don't even think about it that deep. But oil is everywhere. Energy, gas, everywhere. See, you may be thinking, oh, I feel it at the gas pump and that's about it. No, you feel it everywhere because oil and energy touches everything. So here's the bigger issue. Let's talk about what comes next. This is not over. Even if tensions do cool down over in the Middle East temporarily, oil prices are still higher than normal. Supply chains are still having to make adjustments. And once prices move up, we all know that prices don't just snap and go back down overnight. That doesn't happen. So what you're feeling right now, this could really be the beginning of another wave of higher inflation. And this is why I say most people are not ready for what's about to happen. This is why I always talk about structure in these videos, because moments like this separate people financially, not based on income, whether you make $100,000 a year or you make $300,000 a year, not based on income, but based on preparation. You could make $50,000 a year and be better prepared than the person making $300,000 a year. People without a plan, no matter what their income levels, they all feel this stuff first. They feel it through tighter budgets, right? Rising stress, less flexibility. They feel it through the fact that money's not stretching as far as it used to. Remember when you used to go to the grocery store, fill up your cart? That was $100. Now you fill up your cart, that's about $300, right? Here's the deal. People with structure, they adjust easier in times like this. So let me say this. This video is not about panic. It's about awareness. Because when you understand what's actually driving inflation, driving higher gas prices, and how that ripples down into our everyday lives, you start making decisions with more clarity because now you got more information. The goal of these videos, guys, is to give this stuff to you in plain language, not the stuff you see on the news or the hype you get on social media, but just to give you things to understand, learn, and think about so you can start preparing your own household finances, your own personal budget, and you can start preparing for some of the things that are happening in the larger picture of our economy that trickle down to us, right? And then you can be better prepared and start getting ready. Listen, as always, if you got value from this video, do me a favor, drop me a comment below and let me know that you got value. And smash that like button below. And as always, you want to share this information. Share this video with your friends, your family, and your network of special people. And check out more videos from me about how you should be preparing right here next.